Now more than ever, people are struggling to put food on the table. So today I have three extremely easy, budget friendly meals that will feed at least four people and cost less than $3 to put together. For these meals, I will only be using salt and pepper from my pantry, but of course, you can adjust these to fit your family's preferences by using some of the things you might already have on hand. Think cheese, proteins, seasonings, anything that might kick it up to the next level. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today, and let's get into these meals.
I'm going to do breakfast for this first meal. We've got a dozen eggs at my Walmart. It's $1.67. And this Just Add Water Jiffy Buttermilk Biscuit Mix, which is 93 cents and makes my total $2.60 for both of these items. You could go ahead and cook these eggs however you want to. I'm going to scramble six and I'm going to hard boil six. We're not going to eat a dozen eggs this morning, so I'm going to hard boil six so that we have snacks for later. So technically, this would be a breakfast and a snack for us for $2.60. So let's start out making these biscuits according to the package directions. I've got my hard-boiled eggs going already, so I'm just going to crack the rest of these six eggs. So we're going to scramble these like I said, and my hard-boiled eggs, I boil the water first, keep the eggs nice and cold, drop them into boiling water, cook them for 10 minutes, and then ice bath them for 10 minutes. And they always peel really easily doing it that way. I'm just going to season these with salt and pepper. In my pan over here, I've got some bacon grease. I melted down. I've always got a jar of this in my freezer. Okay, we have our six hard-boiled eggs here. We've got our six scrambled eggs here, and we've got our six drop biscuits. If I was feeding six people, I would do all scrambled eggs, so everybody got two eggs and one biscuit. And then if we're talking about cost per serving, that would be only 43 cents per serving. It's not a huge breakfast, but we get some carbs and some protein. If you've got butter for your biscuits, that's going to add some extra calories and satiety. Not a terrible option, but if you're more in the four-person range like us, that's 65 cents per serving, which is still really inexpensive for a breakfast. And you'd get three eggs and like one and a half biscuits, depending on your serving size requirements. But for us, this is going to be breakfast and a snack. And my kids love hard boiled eggs. So this is a great one for us.
Okay, guys, so I did have some audio issues while filming this portion, so we do have to do a voiceover, but that's okay. So here are our ingredients for this meal. Our hot dogs were $1, our box of mac and cheese was 64 cents, our tomato was 22 cents, our jalapeno was 9 cents, and our ear of corn was 33 cents. At least for now, during the summer, corn is fairly inexpensive, but it does go up quite a bit in my area, at least during winter. So my total for everything here is just $2.28. Our mac and cheese, I'm going to leave plain and simple. So I'm getting a pot of water boiling, cooking my noodles, and while those are going, we can get started on everything else. I've already cleaned up all of my veggies and I'm cutting the corn off the cob and dicing up the tomato and jalapeno. I'm also removing the seeds from the jalapeno just to keep the spice to a minimum for the kids, but if I were making this just for myself, I'd be leaving all of those in. I'm putting all of my veggies into a hot pan together and we're just gonna fry everything up and give it some color. I'm seasoning this simply with salt and pepper, but if you have some garlic, chili powder, cumin, or even oregano, those would all be delicious in here. And if you add your seasonings at this stage, they'll bloom a little bit in the oil as the vegetables cook. Once my noodles were finished, I drained them and reserved about a third cup of that pasta water. I'm adding a little bit of oil to the pot along with the cheese packet and the pasta water to make our cheese sauce before adding the noodles back in. You don't actually need the butter and milk for boxed mac and cheese. That just helps add a lot of flavor. So if you don't have them, you can just use some of that starchy water with a little oil and it turns out perfectly fine. And over here, we've got all of our vegetables cooked down. I did add a little bit of water to these as they were cooking, about a quarter cup at a time, just to make sure everything had enough time to soften without drying out or burning. Next, I'm adding a little bit more oil to the pan and frying up my hot dogs. And full transparency here, I'm only using 4 of them because that's all we're going to eat. But if you're feeding more than 2 adults and 2 littles, go ahead and cook all of them. And if you need to stretch this meal even further, you could add another box of mac and cheese and still keep the entire meal under $3. And you'd have a pretty significant amount of food for that price. And my gosh, you guys, this smelled so delicious while it was cooking. This is basically a play on salchichas a la mexicana, which is made with hot dogs, tomato, jalapeno, and onion, which I believe is representative of the colors of the Mexican flag. So that's pretty cool. And it's another really inexpensive and delicious meal you could make with ingredients like these. You could serve this one of 2 ways. You could take your mac and cheese and mix everything together, which I think would be delicious, but I know my kids are not going to like that. So I'm keeping ours separate and serving the hot dogs and vegetables alongside the mac and cheese. And I know this doesn't necessarily look like much, but this is genuinely a delicious meal for a little over $2. For us, this comes out to about 57 cents per serving for 4 servings, and we still have our 4 hot dogs left over. But even if you needed to add another box of mac and cheese to stretch it, your total would only be $2.92. So you could feed 6 people for about 49 cents per serving, and that is a whole lot of dinner for less than $3. This meal, also very simple. So I've got a pound of spaghetti here. The La Moderna brand at my Walmart still has these for 97 cents, but I don't think every Walmart location has them, but the one by my house fortunately does. The zucchini was 89 cents, the garlic was 72 cents, and the tomato was 20 cents, which brings my total for all of this to $2.78. And you probably think you know exactly what I'm going to do with these, but you might be surprised. I'm going to get this started. The only additives I'm going to use are oil, salt, and pepper, same as the other recipes. I'm going to boil all of this pasta and I'm going to reserve 1 cup of starchy water. I'm going to put some oil and salt into this water. We're going to make sure that pasta can get as much flavor as possible with our limited ingredients. We're gonna get our next stages started. I'm gonna cut the top off of this broccoli. Garlic broccoli, oh my gosh. Okay, so that it's all opened like this. You could wrap it up in foil and roast it in your oven for like 40 minutes, but I'm really not interested in spending that kind of time. You could also boil it, take all these out individually now and peel them and boil it, but I'm also not interested in doing that. So I'm gonna roast it in the microwave. So I've got a microwave safe cup right here. You could do this in a bowl, and I'm gonna add water to it. It's like just covering it on the top. And I'm just going to pour a little oil over that. And this is going to go in the microwave for 4 minutes. I don't know if you can see in there. I don't want to flip it to the side and tip it over. This is going to go in for 4 minutes. And then if it's still not soft after 4 minutes, just do it in 30-second increments to get it to where you want it to go. Next, we have our zucchini. I have this all washed up and I clipped the bottom. We're going to shred this. I'm doing it over a towel because oh yeah, I need to take the bottom off because when this is all done, I'm going to soak up any of the moisture that I can over the next couple minutes from this zucchini because it does release a lot of water and I don't really want all that water. And if you shred zucchini, keep the little nub on top. It's a perfect handle. Got my clean towel here. You could do this with paper towel too. I just feel like that uses a lot of paper towel. Spread it out, fold it over, and then I just flip it to kind of seal it and give it some pressure and help push it along. I'm gonna set this to the side. Got my washed tomato here, and I'm gonna dice this. I'm gonna do a petite dice for this as well. I recommend using a towel or something to take the cup out of the microwave. I use a cup so that I have a handle. But see how that garlic clove there is kind of popped up? That means we're good to go. It's super soft, just like roasted garlic. I'm going to take this out and let it rest. I'm also going to save this because this has a ton of flavor. I forgot to mention I scrubbed that garlic clove so that I could use the water. I had peeled off the outer layer and scrubbed it and made sure there wasn't any extra dirt or anything in there. There's not like particles and stuff floating. Okay, we're over here in the same pan that I cooked the pasta in. It's currently drained in a colander and I coated it in some oil so it doesn't stick together. Get my zucchini in here. Okay, I'm gonna salt and pepper this. Some Italian seasoning would be excellent. And I'm gonna add my tomatoes to this as well. Salt those. And I'm gonna put a lid on this to cook. I want this to cook all the way down. Over here, my garlic is cool enough to touch. So I'm just gonna take these out. Some people can squeeze it and they all come out. I've never really had any luck with that. So I kind of grab each one individually and pop it out from the bottom. Use gloves if you don't want your fingers to smell like garlic all day. 4 minutes was perfect for my microwave. Oh, shot one out. Here we go. Got the garlic out. I'm putting my garlic into a blender cup. I'm going to add my garlic and oil water. And I'm going to add my starchy pasta water. This is about 3/4 of a cup. And I'm going to blend this. But I'm going to save you the blender sound. So we'll be back. There we go. All blended up. Looks like milk. Okay, here we go. All of this is cooked down significantly. I'm going to go ahead and add my garlic and pasta water. Remember, I haven't added any salt to this yet, except for the pasta water and to the zucchini and tomatoes. Okay, we do need some salt. Now, if you don't like zucchini like this, you could even blend it up in with the sauce because it really takes on the flavor of everything that you're cooking it with. I just feel like it cooks down so significantly that it doesn't make that much difference. You could even take this all together after the tomatoes and zucchini have cooked and blend it in with the garlic and pasta water and stuff and just make a completely creamy sauce. You know what? hold on. I've already got my blender out. If no one has ever told you before, you can hear that. Be careful when you put hot liquids and hot items in blenders because it can explode. Not like blow up like pressure cooker explode, but if you have especially like a Vitamix or something and you pop it open, the liquid can splatter out and burn you. So be careful. And then I just put a little water in here. I'm going to shake it up and get all that out. If you have cheese, like fresh Parmesan cheese, put it in here. That would be delicious. Nutritional yeast would be really good. Add a nice nutty, cheesy flavor. Let's test this and see if we need more salt and pepper. That's delicious. Just a little more salt and a little more pepper. I think that's perfect. Let's start adding in our pasta. I'm just going to be adding in a bit at a time instead of just pouring it all in there so that I can get it even. I don't even know if this is going to be enough sauce for a whole pound of pasta. I'm probably going to leave some off to the side anyways, just in case the kids want butter noodles or something later. That's a popular snack in our house. Look at that. That is just pretty. I bet if you served this up on a really nice plate with a teeny tiny little portion, you'd charge like $45 for a plate of this. Now that this is all mixed up, I do think we need a little bit more salt and pepper. I know it seems like, wow, you just keep adding salt, but I'm not adding that much at a time. This would greatly benefit with some lemon. Like if you have fresh lemon, or you could zest some lemon. Lemon concentrate would be fine, just to give it that little bit of vibrancy from the acidity. I'm just gonna let this all cook together and mesh for a couple minutes, and then it should be done. Excuse my appearance. It has been a really long day. However, I wanted to do a taste test of this because I feel like it's surprising me how good this actually is. I've made something similar to this in the past, but just kind of switched it up a little bit for the parameters of this video. So I thought, instead of just telling you, oh, it was good, let's try it together. This is delicious. Like, because there are so few ingredients, you really taste the layers of each individual component. You taste the zucchini, you taste the tomato, you taste that roasted creamy garlic flavor, and the salt and pepper just really help bring out all the flavors and balance everything together. This just seems like a really simple, traditional almost pasta, but same thing as I said before, a little Parmesan cheese. You could do like a third of cup, half of a cup of Parmesan cheese mixed into the sauce when you're melting everything down. A little lemon juice, or just garnish with a little lemon juice. 10 out of 10. Serve it with some chicken, serve it with some marinated roasted tofu, like whatever your thing is. This is a really good base, or just do like I'm doing right now and eat it just as is. But even if you're not struggling with your grocery budget, I would give this a try because this is really, really good. That's all I've got for you today. Thank you so much for being here with me. If you made it all the way to the end of the video, leave me some raindrops or storm clouds, whatever you can find in your emojis, because it has been thundering and rumbling all day today. The engagement really does help out the channel, and I greatly appreciate it. If you like content like this, I post videos every single week, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss out, and I will see you guys on the next one. Bye-bye.